Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So for today's topic, we will learn about the Angular directives. So what is Angular directive? It's a sort of the features or a part of the syntax, a special syntax prepared by the Angular framework to simplify some of the work or the task inside in developing the mobile application. Okay, so Angular directives, and there are actually a lot of or a list of directives that is available in Angular framework. However, for today's session or for this video, we will only cover two of them, which is the ng-for and also ng-if. ng-for and ng-if. So if you can see here from these both directives, we can see that Angular directives have the ng prefix. What is meant by ng prefix? There is an ng alphabet at the front of each directives. So this is what we call as prefix, and it has ng prefix. So what is the purpose of ng-for? ng-for is a directive to traverse over an array object and display the data in the UI. So the keyword here is array object, where we have an array of object means that there are a list of elements inside that array, and we will display the objects or whatever the content of the elements inside that array into the HTML part, and we do it just once, and it will repeat by itself. Okay, so let's do the practice and demonstration. So we will generate a new page. Let's call it ng directive. ng-for. So a new folder will appear here. Okay, now we have ng-for. It will involve these two files as usual, the HTML file type and also TypeScript file type. So we declare, what will happen is that we declare the array here inside the TS page that has an array of object that has object elements inside that array, and we will call it for the user interface at the HTML page. So usually the traditional way or the common way that we make a list inside HTML, we will use either unordered list or ordered list. So let's try unordered list, and then inside that we will have a few list of things. Let's put some names here. Okay, so now we have this list, and it will be in bullet appearance. So this we will call for ng-for page. So we have a list of name here: Ahmad, Sherry, Isaac, Amin, and Akilah in bullet point. So this is what a traditional or the conventional list inside HTML. So let's convert this, doing the same thing by using ng-for, and you just need to call it once in the HTML. So for doing that, we need to create an array of items or an array of object. Let's say the object is names, which is assigned to an array. Okay, so this is names, an array called names, and inside this array, let's put some elements. So we have 5 elements, so we prepare the elements container first. And this is how we write it. Okay. I just want to do this step by step so that you could understand what we are making inside this array. So inside this array, we have name of each person that we have just now. So we need to declare the key and the value, which is name. So name will be their key, and the value is in a string data type, and it will be Ahmad here. And we will have the same thing inside the rest of elements container, only that we put this name, okay, Sherry, Isaac, Ame, Akila. So let's change this. Now inside this array called names, the name of the array is names. Inside this array, we have 5 elements. Inside each element, they have the same information, which is the name of a person, where we have a key called name. And we have the value of these keys, particularly inside each element. So we have Ahmad, Sherry, Isaac, Ami, and Akila here. So we will save this first, and nothing will happen. The HTML will still the same, okay? Still the same. However, now we are going to call them still by using unordered list, and a list. Only that we put the ng4 condition inside this unordered list so that it will repeat everything, all the elements inside this array. So how to write the ng4? The syntax of ng4 is asterisk ng4. This one is case sensitive. Make sure that the F is in capital letter. Assigned to in double quote, let something of something. So what happened here is that we are going to give a new variable, the first something one. Okay, we are going to give a new variable, which is something one, to the current variable of the array, which is something two. So in this case, let me use this syntax. So this is a syntax on writing ng4. So let's use this syntax inside this ul tag so that it will repeat the array as long as many as the elements the array have. Okay, so let something of something two. Something two is the original name of the array. So we have names here. So let something of something. Let something of names. And now this is a new variable for this array, because we want to apply ng4 here. So it can be anything. When we say that it is a variable, so we can have any appropriate name that we can use. Okay, so usually we just use a similar one, but to not making you confused with the key name here, so let's use person. So the new variable will be person. Let person of names. And now we are referring this array as person. The name of the array is person. And this is the condition. As long as there's something inside this array, it will repeat. What will be repeat? A list of it, and we will use one data binding method, which is interpolation, to call back everything inside this array. So let's use that interpolation syntax, and call their name. So currently we only have one keys inside here, which is name. So we will call name here. However, we need to highlight the new name of the array first, which is person. We are not using the names anymore. We will use a person. So it will be person dot. Only then we can call which key that we want to use. Currently we have only one key, which is name. So it will be person dot name. What will happen is that we will have the same list as this one. Can you see? Now we have a same list like the top one. And we only need to write this syntax. Doesn't have to repeat everything like the conventional one. Okay, now let us add a new key or a new information inside each element in this array. Let's say we put DRH, and to separate to a new key, we need to use a comma and put a key called H and put it inside a string and repeat this to another 4 things. So in a way we can see that this array could act like a database, and it will wait to be called inside the HTML whenever it is needed. Okay, now we have a different age for these 5 persons, and we put another interpolation here to call that value. It's still in person array, but the key that we want to call here is H, so it will be person.h. Now let's see what will happen here is that the H will appear beside the name of these persons. Maybe I can comment this first so that we will focus on this list only. Right now we have the name and the age. So we can manipulate this by putting any word or any sentence that we want to. Let's say person name is person age years old. So all the bullets, all the list will have this sentence appear. So let's look at that. Now we have Ahmad is 25 years old, Sherry is 20 years old, Isaac is 23 years old, Ami is 29 years old, Akila is 22 years old. So this is how it could simplify our work. We don't have to write Ahmad is 20 years old, Sherry is what years old. Okay, so we don't need to do that anymore by using ng4. And not only it can be written using an ordered list or ordered list, we can also change it to ordered list or whatsoever way of HTML or Ionic component that we can use. We can manipulate the use of ng4 as well. So this one is ordered list. So this one is the same thing that happened. The content of the elements are inside here, only that the number is repeating. Okay, this one needs to be altered at the list tag. Apart from this, we can also use any of Ionic components. Let's say ion list. Okay, we look at UI components inside Ionic frameworks, and we go to the list and how to use this list. Copy one of the example and put it inside here. And I will comment this first. Now this is how we write it manually repetitively, and we don't want to use this. We just need one as a template because we will be using ng for this, and we put it in ion item. Make sure that you put the ng syntax of Angular directives in the correct tag. If you put ng inside a list, it will be five different lists inside the UI. Here we only need to use the ng in the item, so the item will be the thing that is repeated inside the same list. Okay, ng names, and this one we will use person dot name. Okay, what we are doing is just we manipulate the way or the UI, the appearance of our data. Okay, the method of using ng is still the same. So now we will see the list inside ion list, and maybe we can put another label to call the age, and we add on years old, and we want to put it at the end of label, so the slot will be slot and the end of the label, the list. So this is how it will appear. Ahmad 25 years old, Sherry 20 years old, Isaac. Or you can do the same thing like we have here, and maybe we delete this one and paste it here, that we will have a list with these sentences. So it depends on us on how to manipulate, how to try and error, how to amend, to fix or change the way we display the data using the available components. Okay, so that is for ng4, and now maybe we can move on to ngIf. So what is ngIf? ngIf is a directive, the Angular directive, which is used to show some data or item based on some condition. So maybe you are familiar with the Arduino coding or the Arduino programming. In Arduino, we will have a condition statement like if, else, else if. So in Angular, they also have the same purpose, or the same a syntax with the same purpose, which is called ngIf. So let's try applying this ngIf. The condition that we want to make is, by using ngIf, we can put a condition on something accordingly to the action taken. Right now, we are putting a button. Okay, this is just one of the example on how we can use the ngIf. Let's say that we have a button with a label of click me, and as usual you can use any appropriate attribute in the button. So expand block. So now we have a button at the top of this page, and the button doesn't have any function yet, or doesn't serve any purpose yet, cannot do anything yet. And this is where we are putting an event binding. So we are using click event, where we are using a function inside here. Let's call it CMOR function with parentheses. And now we need to declare the CMOR function inside the TS page. So this is the skeleton of CMOR function, and what we want to use here is to declare this list as the object that will react to whatever happened to the click event. So we will apply the ngIf inside this. ngIf equals to the name of our variable. Okay, let's call it show list. Right, and we need to declare show list first as a data type, and to make it toggle or serve the purpose that we are trying to do now, we need to declare it as a Boolean type of data with an initial value of false. Means that the sentence is not there yet, or this list is not there yet. It will disappear first. Only when it is click, when the button of CMOR is clicked. Let's change this to CMOR. When the button of CMOR is clicked, so show list will toggle. Okay, show list will toggle, means that the initial state is false, and then whenever it is clicked again, it will toggle from false to true, and the state will be true and the list will appear, and vice versa. So you click, it will disappear, click again, it will appear, you click again, it will disappear. So this is what is meant by this syntax inside the click event of the CMOR button. Okay, let's see what I mean with this. Now the list has disappeared, and it will only appear if we click the CMOR button. And when we click it back, it will disappear, and when we click it again, it will appear. This is done by the syntax according to their state here. It only have a true or false, because Boolean data type has only two value, which is true or false. So we put the ngIf condition inside the ion list. Okay, we can as well use the same ngIf I can appear into a common paragraph. I can appear and disappear and disappear. So the word I can appear and disappear will also appear and disappear according to the action of clicking this button. I can appear and disappear. Oh, there's a spelling error there. Okay, the initial state is false, and when we click, the state change to true. So which is why all this contents is appear. If we delete this ngIf syntax at the paragraph will appear the moment this page refreshed, because it doesn't it doesn't terikat, it doesn't relate to the ngIf directives. It will always be there. It would always be there. The only thing that is related to the NG if will act accordingly. Okay, now this is the exercise of NG4 and also NG if that we can you can try after this. So thank you very much. Bye bye.